Hello friends, today we will be talking about the art of negotiation.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
A skill that I think many people need to have, especially if you're in those positions where you are managing a lot of people or you're a leader in some kind of situation at your work or any other place. I got this information from this book called Getting to Yes, which is a great read. I suggest you to read it if you have time. The most crucial things that you need to know in order to get better at this skill. So let's jump right into it. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe so my channel can grow and I can make more videos. And let's go. Alright guys, so let's start with what negotiation is. Simply put, it is a discussion to reach an agreement. People usually fail at something called positional bargaining. So we are making a mistake even before starting. We defend our position no matter what. We turn into this giant rock that is stationary, never going backwards or forwards with the discussion, and this causes the other side to do the same. Things turn into this huge warfare about who is right and why one side is right and not the other. In such a situation, you do not reach an argument, you just are in some fight.
Fuck you too!
There is a way to fix this though, a technique, a method to make you a great negotiator. But before we get into this, let's talk about what an ideal agreement should look like. An ideal agreement is where everyone's interests are taken into consideration and should provide gains for both sides. We should not consider only ourselves and push for an unfavorable outcome for the other party. We should think of the both parties. So now that we know what kind of outcome we should be trying to achieve while negotiating, let's learn the method. In the book, this technique is called principled negotiation. In principled negotiation, we need to be aware and work with 4 fundamental points. Let's quickly look at them and then we will go a bit more in detail. First, people. We separate the people from the problem. Second, interests. We focus on interests and not positions. Third, options. We invent multiple options looking for mutual gains before deciding what to do. And lastly, criteria. We insist that the results be based on some kind of objective standard. Let's dive deep into people. As you might have noticed, we are not robots. Everyone has quite a range of emotions, and especially while negotiating, we use the most instinctual ones. These wild emotions usually, most probably, will get us into the bad positional bargaining state where we will just fight no matter what to protect ourselves and trigger the other side to do the same. So, in this fundamental point, here is how we can deal with it. Firstly, we need to see the situation from the other side's perspective. Once you use empathy and approach the situation as if both sides are right, then this will push you into a collaborative state instead of combating state. So we should discuss each other's perspectives. Second, we need to be explicit about emotions. Remember the thing about humans not being robots. Well, if you do, then good for you. That means you have a sharp memory. By being open and explicit about your emotions and feelings, you will open up the conversation and invite the other side to be more empathetic, which turns them from combating to a more collaborative state. It's really good to use phrases like, I feel that we have been silent about this, or what do you feel about this proposal? Third point, communicate properly by listening carefully and by paying attention. Don't just look at your phone or look around while the other person is speaking. Look into their eyes, nod your head, be present. Fourth thing, so we need to clear any possible misunderstandings for both sides. Use phrases like, what do you mean by this specific issue? Or explain clearly and be specific. Fifth thing, you could even use symbolic gestures like offering some nice local desserts or holding the other person's hand while they're talking. I'm just kidding. You probably shouldn't do that. Sixth, even the space around around you can be used to put both parties in a more collaborative state. Like if you sit at the same side of the table, this will show with your body language that you're here working on a common problem together. So this was the people part. I'm sure if you got the people part right, you'll already be pretty good, where this is where most people will fail, I feel like. Next, the second fundamental concept that you need to add to your negotiation toolset is to focus on interests. Defending your position will not help you reach an agreement, but understanding what the other side is interested will. So this is when you need to put on your thinking hat and analyze what our and their interests are. Even better is to write these down. Make a list. Hell, you can even have a cute tiny little notebook from Temu with your favorite anime on it and pull it out in your negotiation meeting to show off to the others that Death Note and Attack on Titan are the best animes ever. Anyway, there will always be conflicting and compatible interests, so why not try to find the compatible ones and reveal the problem at hand. Once you know the interests, then you can define the problem, and guess what? Problems will direct you to solutions. Here is a story from the book which explains the situation quite well. I will make text-to-speech read it because it sounds funny. Here's the story.
Consider Mary Parker Follett's story of two men quarreling in a library. One wants the window open and the other wants it closed. They bicker back and forth about how much to leave it open. A crack, halfway, 3/4 of the way. No solution satisfies them both. Enter the librarian. She asks one why he wants the window open. He says, to get some fresh air. She asks the other why he wants it closed. He says, to avoid the draft. After thinking a minute, she opens wide a window in the next room, bringing in fresh air without a draft.
So what do we see from this story? That by knowing the interests, we came to an agreement where both parties are happy. Next thing is options. Invent multiple options, looking for mutual gains before deciding what to do. Now here is where you need to get a little creative. After analyzing and compiling interests, create some solutions. Discuss multiple options and try to find ways to come to an agreement that is good for both sides. Thinking outside the box goes a long way. For example, imagine that you're a lawyer buying a car and you're negotiating the price with the seller. So don't just tunnel vision into only negotiating about money. Maybe there are other things that you can put on the table, such as giving that seller 5 sessions of legal counsel will give you a cheaper deal. Who knows? Just try, make options. It's easy, it's free. And as you might have guessed, don't use threats as an option, since by now you should be aware that if you're threatening others, you will be putting them into fight or flight situation, which again turns into an argument, a fight, and this is not how you reach an agreement in most cases. And lastly, we look at criteria. So no matter what you discuss and try to find the common ground, create some options. If things are still looking grim, you can use this point as a last resort to pull the discussion into a common ground. You can use objective criteria such as standards, market value, scientific judgment, and many more. Use these to invite the other side to negotiate for options on a reasonable and logical ground based on facts and data. Find the right criteria and discuss it. For example, let's say you're building something at your house and you see that the workers are using a cheap material or not appropriate material to glue ceramics on the wall. So you can just pull up that data sheet of the material or some kind of construction standards and show them that, hey, this is not the right material to use. And once we frame it with an objective criteria, what are they gonna do? They have to use the right material, right? And what if you tried all of these and nothing works? Well, that's life. You cannot always come to an agreement. But by being aware of these and practicing these, I'm sure you will reach much better results in your negotiations. Keep in mind that negotiation is quite difficult, especially because there are so many emotions involved and you might not be able to perform these perfectly, since sometimes the situation gets quite tense. However, it is a skill that you can improve with practice. So that's all, guys. please don't forget to like and subscribe so we can grow this channel. Comment down below what you think about this book. Would you like to hear some different concepts from this book? Do you find these fundamentals practical? So go down below and let's talk about it. Also, I will link the website where you can have a written version of this video so you can come back to it or use it as a cheat sheet. Take care, guys.